Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We are on, I believe, 359 small victories, doing the daily color. I'm going to try to do 2 sets of pencils, but I do have to hop over to my mom's very soon. So I'm going to do 1 set first, and that is the Brutfuner Squares. I wanted to share that I have the Brutfuners. They used to be in a really big case, and I have moved them to one of the pleather type cases that is the 120 size, so they fit. This is my backup set that I have pulled. So my big set that is buried further away, it's in like a 250 case with Amazon Basics and the macarons. And then I have, this used to be my swatch. Oh, it used to be my swatch. All right, I'm back. Had to have a little interruption there. Okay, so this used to be my swatch. It is the original swatch from when I got these years ago. And I believe Jazzy Doodle Designs came up with this style. So I really like it because I can fold it and put it in my book. So because I have this, it's one of my few sets that I never did an insert slip. I will open this up. So typically with my sets, I do 2 things. I swatch on my swatch that has the holes, which I'll share with you that I do have that finished now. But in here would be an insert sheet. And because I already had this, and this is in the order that they're in my book, I just leave this folded up inside. Notice here are my blank insert sheets. I've just never done them because I have this as a backup, and it has worked very well. And I am proud to report that I do have finally a full set of the Brutfuner Squares on my Bristol vellum. I do like to put my swatches, do my swatches on the paper that I'm going to use. Now I don't have access to whatever the paper is that is in Small Victories or Magical Worlds, but I will say that probably the closest paper to those is something like this, which is my Nina solar cover copy, and I use it for, I have 80 pound and 110 pound, and I use it for making cards. And you can see, look at the glossy finish that it makes on this paper because it's so smooth. So we're just going to get right into it, and I will finish the second set. I'm going to try to come back and do the second set. I do have all weekend, so it might be that this will span a couple of days. Since I don't do a weekly color, I have switched to a monthly review to save us all time, and then I just collect everything up. So our first one will be at the end of the month. So for colors, again, I am coordinating for this whole page. The upper right is the Amazon Basics that started our color scheme because it's the fewest pencil set that I am using on this page. Then on the left is the Prismacolor. And down here on the left, I am going to get started with the Brutfuner Squares. I've got the olive greens in my hand. I'm probably going to flip this around so that it's right side up for me because it'll just make more sense for my brain. And so I will be coloring from your perspective. I will be coloring here on the right. I do have a kitten in the room. He is napping. It's quite warm today. It's kind of funny. He's sleeping. He sleeps between my 2 computers in this little bed, and it's 74 degrees out. And this room that I'm in actually does not have its own direct air conditioning, and it gets the afternoon sun. So I've noticed as the hours go by, he's looking more and more melted and all stretched out as it gets warm for him. So it's kind of cute. And I hear his bell because I have a bell on him. He's so tiny. Every time we get a tiny kitten, I have to get a bell because it freaks me out when I can't hear them. I even still have problems. He's pretty stealthy at his moves, and so I have to be really careful because he will get underfoot and I won't even know it. But I do like having the bell to get a rough idea of where he is lurking in the house. He is still a very, very sweet kitten, very smart. He has a strong hunter instinct, and his favorite toys are the furry mice that he packs all around the house with him everywhere he goes. And it's just very cute. I have 3 cats ago, we had a rescue, and she was also a very hunter-oriented cat and liked those mice. So when I saw him doing that behavior, I went, oh, I'm gonna have to get him some fuzzy mice. So hopefully I have got, they didn't have them the first time I was at Petco, but they also looked like their toy inventory was wiped out. So when I went back there, I noticed they'd replenished, and there they were. So I got him a dozen little fuzzy mice that hopefully will last a good long while. Ball toys aren't very interesting for him. He loses them underneath things, and then I never see them again. But the mice are always around because that's how much he likes them. And he tends to leave them. He tends to leave them at my feet or at my chair. So that's perfect. I will share with you the 3 olivey greens here in a moment. Yep, so I gotta hop over to my mom's house here very soon. The joy of family close by, and it has its mostly pluses, but a couple of the minuses is that my time is not quite my own as much as it used to be. Not unexpected. All right, so light to dark. These only have numbers. They have the Chinese characters. I know that there is an English translated version of these out and about now, but mine are older. Maybe someday I will have to get a set that has the English on it. I know these come in and out of stock all the time on Amazon. 78, 48, and 115. And of course, I am backwards. I try to always go light to dark. All right, so there we go. 115, 48, and 78. And I have finished with the middle color, so now I'm doing the lightest. The turkeys just went by. Somebody on one of our community Facebook groups got pictures of the flock. There are multiple males in the grouping, and a couple of them had fanned their tails, and they come by here once or twice a day sometimes, and I have not noticed the males doing that, so I thought that was interesting. I don't know what makes them show their tail like the traditional Thanksgiving turkey image that we all know and love. These are a fairly dry, hard pencil. I do really enjoy how they feel. They go down pretty quick. They feel slightly, if I can even say that, harder than the flower box Brutfuners, which may or may not be the exact same formula. We don't know because the numbering system on the flower boxes is completely different. The squares are the same numbering system as the round full color barrel sets that you can get. I believe the code, this is from memories, like LBW. And those are the ones that have the same colors in them. My mom owns the LBW 180 set. I went right to the flower boxes after the squares, and I had the macarons next. Then I got the student 520 for my walls for decor, and it's been wonderful to have them. Everybody who comes to visit thinks that the decor is very unique in my craft space. All right, so that is finished. And then after the student pencils, I then got the flower boxes, followed by most recently, very recently, the neons and fluorescents. I still have to swatch the fluorescents. Okay, so here are the 3 leafy green, 45, 81, and 77. For this color range, if you'll notice up here, that's the prism colors. I did not go dark. I kept it pretty bright. You could decide to follow the artist's prompt of having these dashed lines on one half of the leaves depict that the lined side has to be darker. Totally up to you. I actually think I could zoom in a little bit. There we go. It was kind of gloomy this morning, and now it's all sunny, and there's way more action out on the trail. More golf carts. Haven't seen a lot of walkers and bikers today. I hear the airboats out on the watershed. They're very cyclic when they're out and about. I don't know what, like, is this a special event? Has it been cold, too cold? I don't know how that works. It just all reminds me of camping and being on a lake and where there's boats or car races. So it does not bother me. I know some people. But what you will not get here. We live on the side of the community that's for nature. And there are no animals allowed, no pets allowed, I should say. So that's why in the back I get to see free roaming turkeys, armadillos, raccoons, squirrels, all sorts of birds, cows, boar, because there's no scent of like dogs on the trail. As that is a rule that you can't have your pets back here. And then the other interesting thing for me, from coming from the many years living full-time in campgrounds on BLM land, is mostly gravel, not a lot of asphalt. And so we would hear the sound of crunching gravel all day and all night. And we do not hear that anymore, and it is lovely. You don't even know how annoying it is until you don't hear it anymore. So it is really super quiet here. A lot of the campgrounds are near highways and freeways for ease of access. And we are basically backed to, we're on 2,800 acres. There is Highway 50 and Highway 95. We're kind of nestled in that corner. But we're back a ways, and we're nowhere near 95. So it is quite quiet. That was my mom's first comment when she moved into her house, was how darn quiet it was. They lived on, if you guys know about the Oso landslide, my mom lived on Highway 530, close to Oso, in kind of the outer reaches of a city called Arlington. And she could hear 530 from her backyard. Here, you only hear the sound of vehicles like these airboats, if the airboats are out. So it is very nice. She even commented yesterday. She says, you know what's so unique about Florida is at home right now, back in Washington State, it would be dark at 4:30. And I just commented to you guys 2 days ago that at 5:30, 6 o'clock, it was still light at 6 p.m. So she noticed it too. And she says it's very, very nice to have the warmth, even in the cold. I mean, we have had some super cold weather this last couple of weeks, but it does stay lighter, at least an hour longer. All right, the greens. Oh, I've got a little bit more here. I need to do... Yep, here are lots of golf cart people. So you can see that this blend of 3 did a little bit nicer job of connecting. So I'm just going to soften that line between this middle green and the like apple green. You can always go softer. I went pretty thick with the light green, and I could have been a little softer in the transition there, and I would not have to go back and fix it like I am doing. Okay. Moving on to... I'm really excited to feel the Castle Arts Gold compared to the Prismas and the Brutfuner. So far between, here's the Prisma, and there's the Brutfuner, and the Brutfuner looks to me, in the greens anyway, a little bit brighter, more vibrant. All right, I'm grabbing the blues because they are nearby. And the light to darks are $38, $35, and $34. Oops, and I'm going to start with 34, which is the dark. I believe that the barrels on this dark is not, it's not, see how it's kind of a middle blue? So the barrel colors on these you have to watch. The darks get into trouble. Everyone is having a great week. It is Saturday. That is an ATV. ATVs are allowed. I don't know how I feel about that. They're awfully noisy, and they have big knobby wheels that kind of tear up the sand, the sandy trail. On to the middle tone, which I think needs a sharpen. So having a kitten does mean that we do not sleep all night long. I don't like to keep, we needed to bond with this kitten. He was a little bit on the sickly side and had not been handled a lot. In fact, I could tell he had been handled by kids because we had the TV on and there was a scene with children in it on the show we were watching, and he jumped up like he wanted to run away. So he has completely melted. He gave in to me like in hours. He was mine. And I don't like to pick them up and pack them around. I pretty much use like a little toy on a stick and kind of let him bring himself to me and take himself places. Hub took a few days longer. They had a big, like a cuddle session 2 nights ago, and that took care of that. Now those two are bonded. He will jump up onto either of our chairs and cuddle with us, talk to us, play with us. So it was nice to see that Hub finally got that done. He was purposefully letting me get the first chance of bonding, since every pet that we've owned at home, Hub's always been home more. I've had like a traveling type job over the years, and then I showed horses for 25 years. So I was gone every weekend all summer. So this is pretty much my cat, even though he is so friendly. He's like everybody's cat. Not afraid of nothing. Just fearless and friendly. All right, that is the blue. Very pretty. Love these. They feel fantastic. Moving on to the 2 flower combos. I had some limitations with this set as far as colors go. So here is the one. This, I believe, is the small flower combo. 71, 12, 17. And we're just going to do the 1/2. And I think I'm wrong. This goes in the middle. Okay. So this is actually the large flower, and it's in a different order. I pulled from the small flower. So for the largest flower, it's 71, 12, 17. This is not the right color. I did not have a true dusty rose. And then I had told you guys that I kind of wanted to have the darkest be the part of the leaf that's under, not over. So I'm going to try to do this one right. Battery too low. Okay. I'm going to check my battery. All right. I think I'm going to be okay now. I have a high-speed charger and then a power strip that I connect directly to a USB connector, but it's a slower one. And I needed to make sure it was in the fast connector. So I think we'll be okay to finish this up. This one is the one petal that's on the top on both sides. So I can darken whichever side I want. And this is the color that was the closest to Dusty Rose, but it's like a grade lavender, not quite the Dusty Rose I was hoping for. This is the middle rose, which is similar to the hot pink that we used for the Prisma. But this almost has the Dusty Rose tone in it. And then my lightest color is this beautiful peach, 71. And I'm not going to forget the little buds. I have the other floral combo, which uses the kind of dusty lavender as its middle tone. And I'm going to sharpen the pink. This is a brighter pink. We'll see how this combination works out. All right, 107, 17, and 53. Starting with the darker. These little tiny flowers I mentioned, I color them sort of like a hydrangea, just kind of random. Oh, and that shouldn't have been the whole flower. It should have only been two and a half petals. Okay, and then 17 is this dusty lavender. It probably would have been fine to just have 2 colors. And then a little pop of pink. Back to the middle, which I did not get any of this. Okay, now we just have a couple of random little bits, and we will call this particular segment done. I have 3 random colors. First we have yellow, yellow number 2. And it is going to be, and I don't mind if the dot of yellow spans both halves of the flower. I'm not going to sweat that. And that's it for the yellow. And then we have 23 is the sort of Van Dyke brown, the body of the butterfly, as well as the middle of these 2 big flowers. We have burgundy, or maroon, which is number 113 I picked. I see I have to get the green back. So yeah, a little bit different, not too bad. I am going to take yellow and do some yellow to these very small flower center parts. Okay. And then the last is for the butterfly. I picked, just to keep it bright, and then I'm gonna say, we'll use this pink, it's pretty bright. Oh, I'll put the brown away for the body color. And again, I want to put some shimmer. I have white, pearl, and glaze, but all in white. I think I know where my shimmer is. So perhaps when I come back for the second part of this, I will pop on the shimmer. All right, the brown. So that is it for the Brutfuner squares. And I will come back and we will work on the Castle Arts Gold for the last quadrant. And I will pop back in and do that here. So I will see you guys in just a moment. All right, I am back. Some time has passed. I went and helped my mom. Left Lucky for the first time by himself. Hub was off doing some stuff around the park. And so I came home and he hadn't even moved. Imagine that. He is such a good cat. Okay, so we've got the Castle Arts Gold. And I'm not sure how many of you have Castle Arts, but they are known for their smell. When you open them up, they have a faint candle smell, kind of a nondescript smell, sort of waxy. It's very pleasant. They are a beefy barrel. They feel like a poly, only see they have a satin finish, and they have the blue barrel with the gold. Very nice pencils, and I just went and did the reverse. Maybe I should just change and have the top be the lightest. But I've always done it the opposite. Okay, so the lightest green, this is the leaf green color. Leaf green light 61, Prussian green 55, and juniper green 56. And we have, they also have a 3.8 millimeter core, so I might have to sharpen them a bit more. We'll see how it goes. So I helped my mom today. She got new rugs. The house she bought actually came with quite a bit of furnishings. She bought some of their furniture. We did not have that option. We had nothing. We had 2 bar stools at the counter. It's a bar height counter on the island, and so we had to get everything else. But she needed a rug for the guest room. They have guests. Their first guests are coming. Who doesn't want to come and stay in sunny Florida, even though it's pretty cold, in February? So she's all ready now. She has bought a sleeper sofa, and that comes on Monday. So we got the rugs all situated for her. She keeps giving me toys, and since she's a dog person and her dogs are large dogs, I'm like, Mom, why do you keep giving me these toys that are like twice as big as the kitten? Luckily, he's not afraid of anything, so they're okay, but they're not the size that would make him want to play with them. Maybe snuggle with them. So I have a growing collection of toys to try out with him as he gets bigger. It was a balmy 74 degrees today after our cold snap, and I hear it's going to get cold again. And then Hub has said it's supposed to rain tomorrow, which for us, that could mean anything. It could be pouring down rain right down the road, and we won't see any rain all day. All right, moving to the middle green. Actually zoom in a little bit more, can't I? So these are a quite soft feeling pencil. Ironically, I feel like these are the Castle Arts Gold. They're supposed to be oil based. The Castle Arts Soft Touch are supposed to be wax based, but yet these feel more wax based to me. Very, very soft. So overall, I found most of the colors for all of the sets. The Brutfuner did not have like a dusty rose. And you'll see that the Castle Arts Gold doesn't have a soft greeny gold chartreuse with a little yellow ochre in it. I'll show you what I came up with as the next best, and that's going with the olive green tones. All right, so we're on the lightest one here, Leaf Green Light. You can see that they go down and they show a lot of tooth, sort of Prismacolor-esque. So I'm pressing with some heavier pressure to mush the pigment into the paper. This can be sharpened a little bit. I forgot the middle green down here. All right, done with the leafy greens. Now I'll show you the olive, the lightest color. Okay, so this green gold is quite a bit more gold than green, and they did not have a color closer on the green side that was light. So we'll see how that goes. Olive green 130 and oxide of chrome 63. All right, so that's the darkest green. This is olive green, I believe, the middle green. olive green. And then let's see how this goes. So this is going to be quite a bit more gold than the other three. It's closer to the Amazon Basics than the other two were. Yep, there you go. And if I wanted to darken it up a little bit, oxide of chrome. Add some more shadow tones. Okay, moving on to flowers. I do have our two, well, we'll save those for last. We have our oddball colors. I'm going to grab one of the pink to purples. And this one, if I look at my cheat sheet, is the small flower coloring. And they're really not light to dark. They're just different tones. Azalea Pink 82, Sepia Light 158. I thought Sepia Light was really interesting because it is definitely the dusty rose that was missing from both the Prismacolor and the Brutfuner. And yet there it is, called Sepia Light in the Castle Arts. Violet Deep 127. Yeah, these have a really big core. Get some of that pink in there. And then these two butterflies, we have a little bit of pink and then a little bit of pink. This is that dusty rose. Okay, next flower. Next flower, I am using this dusty rose again, and this is more of a peach to pink. Peach to dusty rose. And its color combo, these looks a little bit different. Cadmium Orange Light 74, Pink Bloom 186, and Sepia Light again 158. And again, I am going to try and have the darkest color be where the petal slides underneath its neighboring petal. Okay, and pink. Pink Bloom. before we go with the lightest, I should get in here to this smaller flower. Pink bloom. And the lightest color is cadmium orange light. I'm finding I need to use a little harder pressure to get that more finished look and get rid of some of the tooth. I don't even think, I maybe had to use more pressure on the Prismacolor, but feels like I'm doing even more on with this. And it's not to get more pigment, it's to get the pigment to smooth out. So you can see that from this side to over on the other side, this pink, I did not pick as bright a pink. I could have just used the azalea pink. This was used on the other color combo. So the only difference really is the darkest color on the one is the dusty rose and the other one was lavender. And I'm just adding this to brighten it up, because that is just a choice on my part that wasn't the best choice. And I don't want it to reflect poorly on the pencils because it's not their fault that I did not choose the perfect combo. There, see, that brightens it right up. All right. Now I'm ready for yellow for the centers. Oh, I have the blues to do, don't I? Those are already colored, and these are already colored. Then we have the brown is Van Dyke Brown, 69. Grab the yellow again to get the very small, I don't know what they're called. The very small multiple. I'm not sure there's a formal term for that. And then the tiny spiky flowers, aubergine, is the color I picked for the darker. And I'll grab one of the pinks. And then we just have, I'm going to take the Van Dyke Brown like that. Grab a pink. I'm going to grab that azalea pink. Alrighty, blues. For the blues, did I not pick the blues? Oh, look at that, I did not pick the blues. I will be right back. All right, I've got my 3 blues. Light, a medium, and a dark. Cobalt turquoise 48, primary blue 98, and cobalt blue deep 95. So if you're wanting to keep track of your sets and what you like about them, I usually keep a piece of scratch paper and a pencil and try to write notes. If I'm tracking, like when I did all 30 pencils, I did pluses. So if my initial impression is I like it, and when I first started, I gave it a plus. If they've kind of felt fantastic, I would add another plus. If there was something about them as I was finishing my image that was less than ideal, I would put a minus. So I could have, pretty much I would have, you know, plus, 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 minus, plus, and minus were my just quick way of judging the pencils for how they felt to me. And then I would add words if there was something very unique about them. The images that I was doing were very small in this book. So I have since also formulated more extensive thoughts about them and try to keep track. And at some point, I am going to do an episode and do like a tier listing of all of my sets that I have used many times now in Small Victories. I have not used many of my sets on the big books. I've only done so many pages in the big books, and I try to only use the larger sets in the big books. They have to be, 100 or more. All right, so that was the darkest, going with the middle. And then if you wanted, you could go ahead and transfer those notes off your scratch paper onto maybe your swatch sheets, your index sheet. Keeping them with your pencils is probably the best idea, though I have not done it, and I do regret that I haven't kind of added a little note sheet to each of my storage cases for each of the pencils. I went a little bit lighter on this darker blue, so I'm coming back in to darken that up. And then the only other blue element, I just put these, a little bit of blue on the end of that butterfly. And then I did promise that I would dig up my Gellyroll. It's the shimmer or stardust clear. Let's see if I should darken, or lighten, I mean. And then look, I did not color that one. All right, let's go up here. I think I can add this week a test. Can I add color over the top of the shimmer? I will attempt that. Because I am curious. I'm not even going to go get, it's Amazon Basics, these two butterflies. So let's just see what happens. Grabbing pink. This is the Castle Arts. I feel it resisting, but it's going down okay. And then I would like a little bit of the lavender. We'll do this purple. And there you have it. So I am going to pull away now. Oops, I hate when I do that. This comes right off sometimes. is, for the most part, what it looks like. And we will get another look at it at the monthly review at the end of the month. I think that the colors look fairly similar. I believe that, see, we're upside down, so let me put it back up. Right side up. This is Prismacolor. That's Amazon Basics. Castle Arts Gold and Brutfuner Squares. So, hopefully you will join me next week. We will be continuing on. I have not decided if I am going to pick another winter full-size image or if I will just continue on. This is what our next page is. We've got floral. It looks like that's a butterfly. And I have to decide if I am going to do 8 sets of pencils. I'm inclined to do 4. I have done so many different rounds now at this point, and I'm getting to the point of really wanting to be finished with this book. Here's how much I have left. My goal again is to finish by the end of March, so I will probably streamline for the rest of these pages and not do all of the pages with a set for each individual picture if it has this many images on it. So do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and I hope to see you on the next one.